Alright, I'm just gonna take over my friend's video for a bit. Hi, I'm Nativefall, and I am in love with old arcade games, and especially classic Sega games. And still to this day, I still go to my local retro arcade. Not these lame David Busters and Alley Cats version, no. Although, everyone who has been outside knows that Sega is the king of arcade games, and was the still big competitor of the console industry. In the 2000s, Sega released Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast, and it was an unexpected smashing success. It was simple, just get to your destination on time and don't lose. They had a golden formula, but how can you expand upon this universe? How can they make Crazy Taxi seem tame in comparison? Let's make them big old trucks. Now this was before the iconic game Big Rigs Racing, maybe like a year or two. Now I know some friends who used to play this game on the Dreamcast, and it was surprisingly more popular there. And I kid you not, I remember playing this game at a laundromat in the middle of Irving, Texas. That's the natural habitat for random Sega arcade games for some reason. 18-wheeler is basically Crazy Taxi but for trucks, and a little bit more violent. Mostly because just how insane you and your rivals are in general. You have the gods given permission to run over anything you want, and sometimes get rewarded for it by your time. Your best friend and totally loyal Lizard Trail wants you to not have that time, and just in general makes you want to go broke, as every time you get hit you basically lose money, and if you lose money you can't deck out your awesome truck. So make sure to honk your horn to get these cars and stuff out the way, because moving this truck is surprisingly good. Now you might have remembered that I live in Texas and trucks are extremely common, although their turning is the most slowest and scariest thing to turn. But in this game the truck turns like it's a Honda, which is pretty amazing. I feel the rush just zipping by the cars and trucks barely skimming them, including basically Tokyo drifting to avoid obstacles. My favorite part of the game is when the tornado comes out and it starts throwing things everywhere. And as you know, as a Texan, we're kind of used to these tornadoes, so it was obviously no sweat. Oh yeah, almost forgot. It won't be an arcade game without a minigame. So these mini games are just them flexing how good their driving is. But they clearly didn't tell you how insanely realistic the braking is, because you better know when to stop or you will lose a lot of money crashing. Overall, 10 out of 10 minigame. Despite this game being an alternative version of Crazy Taxi, this was just a pure Sega arcade game. This feeling of driving this truck is great, and to me personally that's the most important part of the game, and that's something that a lot of Sega arcade games have. They got that good feeling. For 18-wheeler, the air freshener is just swaying side to side when you're driving, the cop's sunglasses just balancing on the front. Basically everything is just moving around all the time because you're on a rush, and it's such a nice touch. The music, the design, the overall tone, it's what made the golden age of Sega arcade. Oh yeah, almost forgot this is not my video, so I will give it back to the German.
A trucker? Let me answer that for you. Yes. Yes, you have. And if you didn't want to be, then, well, all I can say is silence. What's better than the open road, big rigs, and using nasty truck stop bathrooms? Okay, well, now you could probably picture that the trucker life may not be for everyone. So why not make it into a video game so people like me can play the heck out of it for fun? The game is called 18-Wheeler American Pro Trucker, and the game was developed by Sega AM2 in 2000 for arcades and later ported to consoles. So I am playing the Dreamcast version, and according to the wiki, this was the last arcade game ported to the Dreamcast. So let's take a brief moment to mourn the Dreamcast real quick. But look at this sick cabinet. It looks like a truck. A literal truck cabinet. This is why Sega is awesome at arcade games, so my gosh. So this game is very simple. Drive your cargo to point A to point B. Oh, but there is a time limit. Yay, how else are you gonna take people's money, Sega? So the game has 4 levels. Each level has 2 locations that you travel to, like level 1 starts with New York to Key West, which from the middle of the day to the evening. And then the second level is St. Petersburg to Dallas. Now this level is pretty crazy. Tornadoes, destruction, and overcast weather. This level is legit the best level in the game so far. Ich habe dieses Level wirklich geliebt, sehr gut, ja. But Then after Dallas, you head towards Las Vegas. Now this level was tough. I couldn't literally beat it, mostly because the game doesn't give you enough time at all, but I like the desert look of the canyons and stuff. And then the final stage, all the way through to San Francisco. This level starts in the middle of the night or early morning, and these bridges are broken. And then you get to see some stuff of San Francisco, like the City Escape level and also the Golden Gate Bridge. Anyways, you get a couple of characters to choose from, like Asphalt Cowboy, Streamline, Longhorn, which I love the dedication and outfit, and Highway Cat. Each character has their own stats and stuff. But yeah, you can also upgrade each part as you progress. The gameplay is pretty cool. Okay, so it's basically Outrun, but with 18-wheelers. So I'm gonna be honest, this game plays kind of clunky, but just like Crazy Taxi, that's part of the fun. When I first started playing this game, I didn't know what the heck the controls were, so yeah, I sort of kept going into reverse. But yeah, never mind that. Oh, also there is a high gear and low gear, and you constantly have to shift into those depending on the terrain and stuff. So yeah, I got to trucking, and this is basically the game. America, 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 cheeseburgers, KFC. Yeah, so as you can see, we can wreck and blow up cars up and down the highways and roads, which is funny because our rival we have to race against us. Jeez, is the driver on crack mixed with some American patriotism? I really love the soundtrack. Just pure American rock tracks with your warehouse dispatcher talking to you. It gets pretty intense. I gotta say, they really be giving us that grade A American experience. But also, these stages have alternate routes you can take in order to win, or in my case, almost go over a freaking cliff. Yeah, I almost sacrificed myself in order to get the pay. Oh yes, also might add that you get paid for every haul that you bring in, and which condition you bring it in, because your rig is basically a tank at this point. But after you win the stage in the amount of time, and if you fail, you just get game over, but the limited continues. And once you do win, you gotta park your load into the parking space. Now every time I've attempted this, I've hit a couple boxes, because I'm baller. But for real, this part of the game is not difficult, just a little tedious, with, once again, a time limit being used. Like, why? I gotta say, I really love the detail in this game, from the destruction, to the little magazines and receipt papers that flop around on your dash, and it's all in real time too, which is crazy for a game that's like 22 to 23 years old. Gosh, it's old. Anyways, there was this cool part where there was like a twister, a freaking twister in the sky, and it sucked up cars and destroyed buildings too. I was like, oh my God, a freaking twister? I do love the various scenery of each place from New York to Florida, and the game ends in California, and let me tell you, viewer, the game just ends. Like, that's all, folks. Looking at this game's reception on Wikipedia, it seems to be mixed to average. A lot of people maybe liked it, seemed like the lack of online multiplayer and replay value. I don't know, folks. It is an arcade game ported to consoles, so yeah, it isn't that deep. But hey, it made a sequel only made on PS2, and of course, arcades, called The King of Route 66, which, looking at this game, it has some sort of story, and like the gameplay looks improved from mini games to the racing aspect of it, kind of giving me Crazy Taxi 3 vibes. Crazy Taxi High Roller? More like Crazy Taxi Big Baller. Hey. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for getting me to 1.7k subs. I love the heck out of all of y'all. And just subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned for season 4. This is the end of season 3 officially. And then also there's gonna be more stuff on the way, I promise. Give me money, please.